Hello and welcome to our video series which sees me, creative head editor Amanda Nottage, chatting to leading Wella creatives from across the industry. I'm going to be chatting to them about their careers, their inspirations, their workspaces, their businesses and anything else that might pop up along the way. Well, joining me today is the owner of Medusa and Wella guest artist, Colin McAndrew. Colin, hello.
Hi Amanda.
It's lovely to have you here.
Thank you, thanks for having me.
Oh, quite welcome. Now I'm going to ask you how you got started in this incredible world of hairdressing. Yeah. Was it a burning ambition inside or was it something that you fell into? What was your path?
It was always a real desire. I had two older sisters.
Right.
I used to go to certain salons in Edinburgh with them and just loved the environment. And just really inspired by the people basically in them. And I was really lucky that when I left school, I got a great apprenticeship in a lovely salon called Ian Cameron, which was just a really high-end salon. You know, so I was a boy from the sort of train spotting world, thrown into this real sort of glam arena, and it was just love at first bite basically. Learnt a lot about customer service and stuff, you know. And then later on in my career, I was lucky enough to sort of learn even more hairdressing.
Fantastic. And are you someone who has looked at other hairdressers across your career in terms of mentorship? Have you sought out people to kind of get as much inspiration, knowledge as you could?
Yeah, I've always been sort of obsessed by being mentored.
Okay.
You know, I was good at football. I had a brilliant manager who helped me. Then when I went into the salon environment, I was really fortunate to work with two amazing people, a guy called Chris Dixon and Adrian McDonald. And they trained me really early on. So I learnt quite a lot. I was on the floor after 10 months.
Wow.
It's not something I'd advocate now, but there was a lot of missing skills. And then I met a guy called Craig Parvin, who's still one of my closest friends today. And he just really instilled me to practice. So he really helped. And then I joined Medusa about 20 years ago now. Right. And I was, again, really fortunate to work with a couple called Gordon and Gillian Watt. And they were really inspirational people. You know, I was 21, 22 at the time, and they were just full of energy. Gordon ran the business, Gillian ran the hair side. And I was lucky that they never really had a figurehead. Right. So I knew that by joining them, I could create a position. Okay. So I became the first ever creative director of the company when we had 3 salons. And then we opened up a couple. Then I was asked to become a partner. And then 12 months after that, I bought Gordon and Gillian out. Wow. But we're still incredibly close, you know, I still really lean on them for advice and stuff, you know. Brilliant. So I've been really lucky that 4 or 5 mentors still have a huge impact in my life even today. And
is that something that you look to pay forward?
Yeah, I mean, I'm obsessed. You know, I'm absolutely obsessed. You know, I think everybody should take and give, but from as much people as possible. I think if you meet somebody who feels they've got all the answers, you know, they didn't really know the question.
Right.
You know, so for me, it's like, get involved, meet people, and mirror them. You know, take all the best for them, you know, be a little magpie. You know, that's my sort of motto.
I like that. I'm going to put that as a slogan at the bottom of this, be a magpie.
Yeah.
Love that. Now, you've talked about mentors.
Yep.
I'm going to ask you now, if you had to surround yourself and build a dream team, and it could be anybody across the decades in hairdressing, who would you pull together?
Oh, that's a really tough one. Straight away, Sean Dawson. I've been lucky enough to work with him for quite a few years, over a few years. And the whole team basically at Hob Salons, you know, and I sort of almost threw out my rule book and took theirs. So those guys are really important. You know, I mean, obviously I'm pretty obsessed with Viral Sassoon.
Right, of course.
Just an icon in everything that they do, and again, lucky enough to meet so many people. And then there's people within the company as well. You know, I've got a young guy, he'll love me for saying this, Peter Mellon, who I think is without a doubt one of the best talents in Scotland. And outside of hairdressing, you know, I think the people who run the Soho House group,
Yes.
their interiors and their detail to customer service, but the way it's invisible is like so clever, really, really
Right.
good. So I always aspire for our company to be as close to that sort of ethos as possible.
Oh, that's interesting. In terms of spaces where you might go for inspiration, you mentioned Soho House Group, where do you find yourself pulled in terms of finding that creative inspiration? And then what space have you carved out for yourself to disappear to get creative when you need to?
I think I'm really interested in interior design.
Okay.
You know, that's a big draw. So the magazines that I get in the house are all interior magazines rather than hair magazines. Well, apart from Creative Head, of course.
Thank you. Thank you.
And, you know, for me, my house is my sanctuary.
Right.
You know, I've got a beautiful house in the city, but it feels like it's in the countryside. So I find that I'm a crazy cyclist.
Okay.
So I love just getting that headspace,
Right.
heading down the coast in Edinburgh. You know, it's beautiful, it's really scenic. And I just sort of digest and create, solve my problems, hopefully.
You have 5 salons now.
Yes.
And something that I really love when looking at the website, if you look at your team and yourself, I can see everyone's playlists that they've picked.
Yeah.
I get a sense of their personality, each and every one.
Yeah.
Is that something that's really important to you as a business owner, that you need to communicate the personality of Medusa and your team to prospective clients?
Yeah. I think massively. You know, for me, this is almost the worst thing for me because it's all about me. And I'm actually all about the team.
Right.
So we get a huge amount of feedback. You know, if you read the questions on the website, the silly answers, the silly questions, and the amount of people who will say, I think this stylist is the one right for me. And you think, well, that's brilliant because you've liked their music choice, you've liked their jokes or non-jokes, and you've just bought into that person. You know, you've broken that barrier down massively. And like I said, you know, I don't mean this just as a throwaway, but I am obsessed with, you know, it's all about the team.
Right.
You know, we must be one of the most team-focused companies in the UK, you know, and I know that, and we try and engage them really differently as well. So I done a whole meeting dressed up as a pirate recently.
Of course you did.
You know, and I never told the team why I was a pirate until about 30 minutes in. And yeah, it was basically this famous quote from Steve Jobs is, I'd rather be a pirate than in the Navy. And we have to keep on progressing, and what we done last year, we have to change this year.
I'm going to do my next interview dressed as a pirate and see if anybody else.
Make sure you have a sword.
Will do. I
You
will
need
do.
that.
So you're obsessed with the team.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Anybody watching who perhaps has one salon at the moment, what key business advice, learnings from your career would you share with them if they were looking to grow their business to multiple salon locations?
I think make sure you've got the foundations correct first.
Right.
Make sure you have all the basics, the foundations, and that you're strong enough to weaken a salon. You know, I think people underestimate making the jump from 1 to 2 salons or 2 to 3. It really has a negative impact. But as long as you keep true to what you're trying to do, you know, and just work hard, it will be okay. So I think systems are really important, knowing your brand identity, and really, really trusting in the team. You know, it's easy nowadays to say that things are different because of social media and stuff. But, you know, as a 43-year-old man, I constantly hear that things are different, the millennials and stuff. And I think that's almost lazy from our point of view, just to blame the millennials or whatever. You know, it's everybody's dealing with the same person or the same type of person. So we have to change how we do it. And in Medusa, what we've done is we've made everything, how we communicate, how we talk to the team, how we appraise the team, we've made it from the team's point of view.
Okay.
So almost what's in it for them. You know, just explaining that benefit, explaining how we have to work hard, but what the rewards will be.
Yeah.
because there is that instant gratification, and we have to manage that expectation, because overnight successes never happen overnight.
Of course not. So as a Wella guest artist, you must meet so many different types of salons from across the UK and Ireland. What do you get from it as a guest artist, and what do you see from those salons? I mean, it must be just such a mix of talents and ideas. Do you get a buzz from it?
Yeah, it's really self-rewarding.
Yeah.
People say it's, there's no such thing as a selfish act, because I get loads back from seeing them. I think it's, for me, again, going back to I'm a proper magpie, I'll steal all the ideas. I see how people are operating.
Right.
Whether it's one salon or 10 salons. I'm really lucky that with my role within Wella, I do groups and individual salons, even one-to-one. So I think it's just amazing to see that there's so much passion in this industry, whether it's a 5-year-old company or a 30-year-old company. Everybody's looking on the same direction. And I think there's also enough business for everybody.
Right.
I think people look at other salons as being their competitor. I don't think it is. I think, everybody needs a haircut.
Yep.
So, I need to find my tribe who come to us, and I need to make sure they don't spend their money in restaurants and shoe shops. I always remember hearing that, and I think it's really, really true, that there's enough business for everybody. And I'm really lucky that some of my closest friends are in the industry. So, I have a good reference point as well. Friday afternoons I can phone quite a few people and say, how's things going,
Right, you've got those touch points.
Yeah, exactly.
Brilliant. Now, the first time we met, I was also asking you questions, but it was a very different situation. I was behind a table, and it was like X Factor or The Voice or something, wasn't it? You had a judging panel in front of you, because you were putting yourself forward for the Making Waves programme, which is Wella and UNICEF united to help those in underprivileged situations learn a life skill and improve their lives. And you were one of the 2, I believe, from the UK that we picked that day. Where did you end up, and what did you get for that? Must have been the most incredible experience.
So it was, and I can't thank you enough for picking us, because it was a life-changing experience.
Right.
It was about 5 years ago, and we ended up going to Vietnam.
Wow.
So when we applied, they never told us which country we were going to. So we spent about 2.5 weeks over in Vietnam, working with a charity through UNICEF, which supports children to get them basically out of poverty, give them skills, and really actually give them confidence. That's what we talked about as sort of educators all the time. It wasn't really about teaching them the greatest haircut.
Right.
We had 2 weeks. We taught them a lot. It was actually giving them a high five when they'd done something right. It was educating the teachers how to communicate. That was the most powerful aspect. I mean, genuinely life-changing. I was lucky enough to go back the year later.
Okay.
So it was an anniversary type thing for Wella, and I was asked to go back. So I've done it twice now, and I would do it every year if I could. It means so much to me. I've got it tattooed on me.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
And it's just a beautiful thing.
That is an incredible thing to have done. That would have been on like your bucket list. That's a big tick.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you to finish off today.
Yeah.
What else is on that bucket list? What else do you still have this drive to do that perhaps you haven't done yet?
I have a lot of team members.
Yep.
We have 70 plus team members, and I have an awful lot of respect for what they do. So I've started doing partnerships.
Okay.
So every salon that I now open is a partner with somebody who works with me. So I think there's no end to what we can do. You might not always have to be in Edinburgh.
Right.
But
world domination awaits.
Yeah, exactly. I feel that I have the right people and the right sort of tools now to help them realise their dream. So rather than having to leave to do it, we try and give everybody a pathway to doing it ourselves. So who knows, we could become the biggest and best in Scotland or the UK, or everybody has to start with a little acorn of an idea. And we're lucky that we've just got a great foundation so far.
Brilliant. A dream maker.
Yeah,
Mr. Colin McAndrew, thank you very much for
Thank you,
joining me
Amanda.
today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.